Al McGUIRE is one of a kind in the college coaching profession, not because of his success, but because of his personality. McGUIRE has a unique way of expressing himself, and he never wastes words.
A team should be an extension of your personality. And my teams are surly, obnoxious, and arrogant.
Remember when Al McGUIRE snubbed the NCAA 2 years ago and took his team to the NIT? Well, today, McGUIRE told why.
Well, my main reason for going back into New York City was to see my mother. And what happens if I don't get back every 4 or 5 months, my brother John knocks me out of the will. So I hustle back in to pick up some points each time I go back in. Because every time my brother John kisses my mother, it's $500. He's a hell of a nice guy as long as you're not related to him.
In a more serious vein, McGUIRE told how his son Allie is having a problem with the count of his white corpuscles and may miss Saturday night's game between the freshmen and varsity. Allie is the team's playmaking guard.
Last year, an interesting thing about my son is that George Fraser, my 6th or 7th man, he probably could start this year with Marcus Washington, came up to me and said, Coach, I should be playing. I'm as good as your son. I says, George, I love my son. And for you to play, it has to be a clear knockout. It can't be close, you know. And, what do you know, it's only, I don't believe in this, the old school of beating your son on the head, you know. It's my son. If there's a break to be had, he's going to get it. Then after blood comes the next guy.
McGUIRE runs his team on what he calls the senior system. He explained how it works.
This is the year we try to take care of Bob Lackey. The kid from Evanston, Illinois. We'd like for him to get a decent pro contract. And I think this is the only practical way of running basketball teams today, as long as you play with one ball. You know, if you play with 2 or 3 balls, I can keep a lot of guys happy. But there's only one, and this started years ago with Dean Memminger and George Thompson. I remember George was a senior and Dean Memminger was a sophomore. And Dean would dribble the ball down court, and I noticed George getting closer and closer to him, like trying to get the ball away from him. So finally, we started out that year 2 and 2. So finally I had to say, Dean, you're a sophomore. George Thompson has done his thing. He showed us that he can get us there. It's George's year. And it's hard for these boys to accept this. Extremely difficult. Because a year to a young person's life is like eternity. As you get a little bit older, a year doesn't really mean that much as far as time element. So this year we'll try to steer all the garbage to Bob Lackey. That will, what I mean by the garbage, you keep them a little bit longer against the cupcakes, and you put them. Hey, do you want me to talk up here like Sister Mary Applesauce?
Al McGUIRE's Marquette Warriors will open the season as the nation's top-ranked team, and regardless of whether or not McGUIRE keeps them there, it should be a fun season. This is Brad Palmer.